I'm Jacques Halbronn. I speak on French astrology, astrology from France, the voice of astrological French astrology here. And I would like to speak on the question of the beginning of the cycles, and also on the question of the four beasts, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. But, and from a symbolic point of view. And it is connected, you will see how it is connected. So, on the first point, it appears that the beginning of a cycle is probably the night, not the day. The beginning of the cycle of seasons is probably autumn and not spring. And as a matter of fact, the Jews start their year in September, and the Catholics start their year in January. There was a time when we in France were beginning of, until the end of the 16th century, we were beginning at the time of Easter, the year. It was abandoned. And most astrologers tend to believe that spring is the beginning of the cycle, because they consider Aries as the first sign. So since Aries is a sign of spring, they decide that the spring is the first sign. And it is a major error, because precisely the beginning of the cycle is something which is not very clear. Well, you have not a very good, you don't see very well. You don't have much horizons. You live in small groups, small circles, small rooms, where you can only master, control a very limited amount of information. So this is a major error, and it is the same for the day. Yes. The Jews start the day at the end of the day, when the sun falls, like Shabbos. It doesn't start on Saturday, it starts on Friday night. It's so long. So this is one point I wanted to express for the non-French speakers, and that we believe now that it starts in the night, in the winter. The cycle starts at this moment, and not at the time of spring. And as I said probably in a previous lecture, by no means Aries is the beginning of the system. If there is a beginning, it's Taurus, and Aries corresponds to a constellation which was, at the time of the Sumerians, the last constellations. And it was not called actually Aries at all, but it's another story. But the place of the sky and the stars which were constituting this, composing this constellation of Aries, had a different name, and it was the last constellation. Now I would like to pass to the question of the four Chayot, to call the tetramorph, the four forms which Ezekiel makes in his book, described in his book, and you have also that in the Arcana, in Tarot, the Arcana, the Word, and also the four evangelists connected with these four animals. There are two difficulties here. Maybe more than that. The first problem those men here represent? Taurus is bull, Leo is lion, the Scorpio is in fact the eagle, bird, falcon, whatever. And finally, the man is probably the angel and not man. Why do I say the angel? Because he has wings, like the eagle has wings. And I think there is this sort of dialectic between Taurus and Leo, who have feet on the ground, pose, and two other creatures which have wings. It is very significant. It's like a plane suddenly flies. The beginning of things, you're just on the ground. Beginning of life, you're on the ground. And after a certain point, a certain threshold, a certain age, you can fly. The eagle incarnates, represents the idea of flight, or the bird who can go toward the sky like Icarus. And this has been also missing in the consciousness of astrologers. But we have a problem here, a difficult, a delicate problem, which is that Taurus and Leo are attributed to spring and summer. And I said just before that the beginning of the cycle is not spring and summer, but autumn, fall, and winter. So what can we do about that? There is a dysfunctionment, symbolically speaking. According to my presentation just a few minutes ago, we would have expected, now that we understand more or less the inherent logic of these four forces, that Taurus and Leo would be attributed to autumn and winter, which is not the case. So, or I am wrong, totally wrong, in some of my statements, or something happened which has upset the system, which has troubled the system. And this is the option I take for the time being. I'm quite familiar with wrong transmissions, misunderstanding of the text, etc. So I would say that Taurus, bull, which is the typical animal that man will eat, not as a bull but as an ox, doesn't matter. Everything which has horns, ovins, bovines, whatever you call them in English, sacrifice animal. Don't forget that the Taurus was an animal of sacrifice, still is an animal of sacrifice in the Spanish corridas. So you kill him in a combat, in the arena, or in any butchery, whatever you call it, kill him. It's death. He will die. So we don't have to put it in spring, whatever. autumn is a time when the nature is not as generous as it has been during the summer. And we have a very famous story by La Fontaine about that. I don't exactly know the word in English. And you have danced during the summer, and now you don't. You know. And so I would attribute the ox and the veal, and even the sheep and the lamb, whatever, to the time of autumn. Because I believe that all these representations are not supposed to represent nature, but the way man, human societies, manage with nature, which is totally different. Nature doesn't tell us to kill animals, but we know that when nature is not able anymore to feed us, we have the possibility to kill animals instead. Even when nature is not able to give us the fruits and the vegetables, we have in store a great deal of animals which we have nourished and kept in order for them to be sort of food for us. They replace the fresh food, and these animals can live beyond the time of summer. So I really believe that this is interesting. But by the way, I would repeat also something I forgot to tell you now, that the pork, the pig, is also a very interesting animal, and it is represented in many books of ours, many almanacs, as a mark of autumn. The pig is killed in autumn, and the pig and the beef, you use those words, pork, beef, or ox and pig, it doesn't matter. All these animals are supposed to substitute themselves at the time when nature is more or less incapable to feed us. Okay. So now we have, after Taurus, we have Leo. And Leo would correspond, if we follow this order, to winter. And of course, it's not a matter of eating Leo. Leo here is a symbol of power. But maybe also a symbol of fire. And as you know, we don't need fire in the middle of summer. We need fire in the middle of winter. And in the almanacs, especially in colored almanacs, you have very nice fires, fireplaces, chimneys, representing the month of winter. It's more logical to associate, if Leo is representing fire, it's quite coherent to rely it to winter. And then we have two other creatures, the eagle and the angel, which would correspond to spring and summer. I will get the idea of something which rises, which increases, like nature increases. Flowers increase, plants increase, trees increase of volume. This idea of increasing in ascending is, according to me, connected with the eagle and the bird. It's also symbolic of a sort of increasing, like the increasing also of the moon. And the last creature, if we accept the idea of the angel, which has also wings, and you can see a very nice angel with wings in the tarot, with the temperance. And well, we can think that it's connected with God, connected with religion, it's connected with spiritual elevation. So, but for conclusion, we will speak of the actual situation of the Zodiac symbolism, Zodiacal symbolism. These four creatures have been introduced in the Zodiac. They don't belong exactly to the Zodiac. There is nothing like a lion in the almanacs of the 12 months, the iconographical representation of the 12 months. Lion is not one of them. And actually, very vaguely, what we cannot say, well, eagle also is not really represented. And pig, pork, is not represented. So, there are two systems which are in presence. One system is these four animals, four creatures, four beings, which represent a certain cycle by itself, and unfortunately they have been misplaced, according to me, at a certain moment, very, very old, of course, a very long time ago. And on the other side, there is the presence of the 12 months, the iconographical representation of the 12 months. Months which are connected also, the number by itself is connected with the 12 conjunctions between moon and sun. Whatever. What we have to remember also is that these four creatures are connected with the four fixed stars. The four fixed stars, which are Aldebaran, Regulus, Antares, and Fomalhaut. Okay. So this is one system, which probably has been perverted. And the other system is the 12 representations of the months. And there is very little kept from this time, from this system. One of the most striking cases is the case of the Gemini, which corresponds to the month of May. And month of May in almanacs is represented by a girl, a young girl, a young man, some sort of Romeo or Juliet, getting together, and the symbol of the Gemini is, in many cases, a man and a woman, not two twins like it is supposed to be. No. In many cases, it's a couple, a naked couple. Very Venusian system, and nothing to do with the Mercurian attribution that you can find in the Tetrabiblos of Mercury, planet of Gemini, which is totally false from this point of view. But symbolically, it's false. Structurally, you can build those sort of things, but symbolically, it is unacceptable. Apart from Gemini, you have the Virgo, maybe, because it's connected more or less with the goddess, Demeter, Ceres, Spica, the wheat, cereal, harvest. So it has to do with kind of harvest. So you have some elements which fit. And if you take autumn, there is not much left. It's been very much corrupted. So I won't try this time to find any connection. There may be, but I have no time for that in here, in this speech. And the fourth case is interesting because it's connected with Aquarius. And when I spoke before of the angel, I was not mentioning the idea of Aquarius. But Aquarius is connected with winter. If you look at the representations of winter in the almanacs, you will see people eating, sitting around a table, and having a lot of drink and food. Especially the drink. And there may be servants who pour the drink, like Ganymedes, and it is typically the definition of Aquarius, the water bearer. It's not necessarily water. Ganymedes, which serves at the table of the gods, ambrosia. So you have, I don't want to go on too much further than that, but you have two zodiacs, one with the four very well-known creatures, which are connected with the four evangelists. And you know, for instance, the lion of Saint Mark, or the eagle of Saint John, etc. And you have, on the other side, a use and exploitation of the symbol of the year. But the year, the way human societies use it, not a representation of what is the nature. Astrology has nothing to do with representing nature. It represents the way man instrumentalize, use nature. It doesn't represent nature. And I gave you the example of the lion, which for me represents fire, and because fire, which looks like the flames of the skin of the lion, the color of lion has the color of fire. And fire is what we need most in winter. So these are contributions which may be useful to you.